Ford canceled their 3-liter diesel PowerStroke engine option in their F-150s, and today I'm going to go over why I think Ford may have done that as a heavy-duty diesel mechanic. Well, I got the old intro in there, and first things first, this is clearly not an F-150, nor does this truck have the 3-liter PowerStroke diesel engine in it. This is my own Power Wagon. Absolutely love it, fantastic truck. Love it probably more than I should. The reason why this is gonna be in the video today is because, well, I just can't really get my hands on an F-150 with a 3-liter diesel engine. All my sources for trucks don't carry this engine anymore because, well, it's discontinued, and I really wanted to talk about this engine and go over it. So the Power Wagon will do today. Now, secondly, we do have this EcoDiesel Ram right behind me here, and we'll get a little bit into this as well because it is the direct competitor to the 3-liter PowerStroke diesel engine. But secondly, if you guys do own a Ford F-150 3-liter PowerStroke and you live in New Brunswick and you're willing to sacrifice it for a day to me, drop me an email. I'll put my email down in the description because I would love to get my hands on one and take it for a drive and do a full review. So the 3-liter PowerStroke debuted in the F-150 lineup in 2018. The engine was nicknamed the Lion. It came with 250 horsepower as well as 440 pound-feet of torque, which is right in the ballpark of its main competitor, like we mentioned, the Ram 3-liter EcoDiesel. This engine was also able to tow 11,000 pounds in the 4x4 configuration, as well as getting a combined fuel economy rating of 22 miles per gallon. So despite those power numbers being somewhat middle of the road when it comes to the F-150 lineup, it is coming out of a 3-liter engine, so that is still somewhat impressive. Now, as many of you guys know, 3 years later in July of 2021, Ford came out saying they were canceling the 3-liter diesel engine, and the main reason is probably not what you guys expect. Now, 2018 was not the first time Ford unveiled this 3-liter diesel engine. In fact, the first 3-liter diesel engine was sold in 2005 in Australia. This engine was actually co-designed with the French automaker Citroën and was also implemented by manufacturers like Rolls-Royce, Jaguar. So there was a lot of European history with this engine prior to it being adapted into the F-150s. So just like the PowerStroke, this EcoDiesel in this Ram also has a European origin. This engine is actually an Italian diesel engine, so it is kind of funny to see both of these American truck companies utilizing a very European-style diesel engine in their trucks. I also hear a lot of people calling the 3-liter PowerStroke the baby PowerStroke, and there's nothing wrong with that, but in reality, this 3-liter PowerStroke has very little in common with the 6.7-liter PowerStroke. The 6.7-liter PowerStroke was 100% designed in-house by Ford for the North American market, whereas the 3-liter simply was not. You know, for example, the 3-liter is actually built in England. It's not built in North America. Secondly, the 3-liter, like we just mentioned, has a ton of European origins, and it was probably realistically built for the European market and then was transitioned in 2018 into the F-150. So in reality, the 3-liter and the 6.7-liter PowerStroke don't necessarily share that much in common. Regardless, this V6 3-liter engine comes with a very stout iron block, comes with a completely revised forged crankshaft as well as crankshaft bearings, forged connecting rods, aluminum alloy pistons, as well as having an over-square engine design, which I greatly like. Over-square engine designs are highly advantageous when it comes to torque generation, and it is no surprise that this engine makes its peak torque at 1700 RPM, nice and low in the torque band, exactly what you're looking for out of a diesel engine that is in a pickup truck. This engine also comes with high flow heat treated aluminum heads. It's a dual overhead cam design, which I actually quite like. Comes with a VGD turbo, giving you some nice responsive throttle response. Also coming with a new Bosch fuel system, capable of producing up to 29,000 PSI of fuel pressure in your common rail setup. However, it is a CP4 fuel pump, which we'll talk about later, and why I don't like that. So there are some nice, good, modern goodies on this engine, and so why did it fail only after 3 years? That is the question. The main reason why this engine was discontinued, according to Ford, was because of lack of sales or lack of interest, which is a little bit wild because the main reason why Ford implemented this 3-liter PowerStroke engine in the first place was to compete with this EcoDiesel, because there was crazy amount of interest with this 3-liter EcoDiesel in the Ram, and in fact there still is a ton of interest in this diesel engine, and that's the main reason why Ford brought their diesel engine to the market. Yet 3 years later, no one was buying it. I can actually believe Ford when they say this engine did not fail due to poor performance, rather simple lack of interest. And if we look at the engine choices in the F-150 lineup, it's plentiful. So you have the 3.3-liter V6, you have the 2.7-liter Ecoboost, the 3.5-liter Ecoboost, you have the 5-liter V8, and now finally you have the PowerBoost engine, which is a monster, and it kind of wipes the floor with the diesel engine in terms of its performance, as well as its fuel economy, which is kind of the main reason why the diesel engine existed in the first place. So to me, it does make a lot of sense why this engine just simply was not selling. I think a really good example is the 2.7-liter EcoBoost engine, which I have not reviewed yet, but hopefully soon. Anyways, it can tow 10,000 pounds. It actually has more horsepower than the 3-liter diesel, although less torque, so maybe that's a wash. But it has better fuel economy and it's cheaper. The diesel option was an extra $4,000 over the 2.7-liter EcoBoost, which I believe is actually the base model engine. I'm sure someone can correct me if I'm wrong. So it costs more to get, relatively the same exact performance. So why would you get the diesel? And along with a modern diesel engine comes emissions and emission faults, where an EcoBoost engine simply does not have emissions to worry about. So it does make a lot of sense, once again, that people are just choosing the 2.7-liter EcoBoost or even the 3.5 or the Big Daddy topper, the PowerBoost, over the diesel engine. Another reason why I personally don't think the 3-liter PowerStroke diesel engine sold that well is because, well, I think consumers are getting a little bit smarter when it comes to a modern diesel engine, understanding there are some real potential headaches involved with modern diesel engines because of their emission systems. And owners of this 3-liter EcoDiesel probably know more than anyone about those after treatment headaches, because this engine is absolutely notorious for having after treatment issue failures and just being downright unreliable. The 3-liter PowerStroke is not as bad as the EcoDiesel. However, it is still no exception. You are very prone to having EGR coolers clog up with soot, as well as having your DPF or your diesel particulate filters clog up with soot as well, causing just a bunch of headaches, engine codes, and costly repairs down the road. So I think that is also why people steered into the EcoBoost lineup, because, well, there is no emissions and it's just a simpler running engine in general. Now, lastly, about after treatment systems and emission systems, is that the 3-liter PowerStroke as well as the 3-liter EcoDiesel were both originally designed without having emission systems on them. And so they've kind of had to adapt and have emission systems on them, where the 3-liter Duramax was designed with emission systems in mind, giving the engineers at least a chance to try and make it much more reliable. And I think that is potentially why the 3-liter Duramax, we just don't see as many after treatment system issues like this engine, as well as the 3-liter PowerStroke. If you guys do own one of these engines, the EcoDiesel, the 3-liter PowerStroke, or even the 3-liter Duramax, the absolute best thing you guys can do for this engine is to remove the emission system if it is something that you can do where you guys live. I know a lot of places it's absolutely frowned upon, you can get a lot of trouble, but if you can remove your emission systems, it will extend the life of your engine and the reliability wonderfully. And if I personally own one of these engines, that would be the first thing that I would think about doing as soon as it got out of warranty, because it truly just sucks the life out of these engines with these modern emission systems. Now, the other major issue that was known to plague these 3-liter diesel engines was complete bottom end failure. The crankshaft would fail, the crankshaft bearings would fail, which basically results in a new engine. Once your crankshaft fails, it's game over. And that's why we see that Ford in 2018, when they released the 3-liter engine in the F-150 lineup, they revised the crankshaft, they revised the crankshaft bearings. Now, I've still heard reports that those engines have had some bottom end issues. So that is definitely one major well-known issue about these 3-liter diesel engines. And if you guys own one, the best thing you guys can do is to make sure you have good high quality oil in there, high quality oil filter, as well as change your oil on a very timely basis, because the last thing you need is to get little bits of gunk or dirt in those crankshaft bearings and potentially spin one. Now, a couple other things that kind of caught my eye that aren't necessarily known as, common issues with this engine. Well, first and foremost is that the camshafts are belt driven, the overhead cams. And I just don't really like that. I mean, it's not very heavy duty, although this is a light duty diesel engine. You'd like to see a chain driven camshaft, or even like the HD trucks behind me, they are all gear driven camshafts, which are very hard. But, a belt driven camshaft is just, I don't know, like my 2010 Hyundai Elantra has a belt driven camshaft. So don't like to see that. The other thing that I really didn't like to see was that this engine utilizes a CP4 fuel pump. Now, before I go down my little rant here, there really hasn't been too many reported CP4 fuel pump failures on this engine, but I mean, I just do not like the CP4 fuel pump after what happened to the LML Duramaxes between like 2011 and 2016. I think it was 5 years. They had their CP4 fuel pumps from Bosch implode left, right, and center, and when they go, they take out the whole fuel system. On the Duramaxes, it was like a $10,000 to $15,000 repair. It's a massive issue, and I just don't know why Ford still runs a CP4 fuel pump on, first of all, their 6.7 liter PowerStrokes, which floors me, as well as this 3-liter. So if you guys didn't know why Ford canceled the 3-liter PowerStroke, hopefully you do now. In a perfect world, I would have the truck sitting right behind me, not this garbage EcoDiesel behind me, but it is what it is. Maybe if someone lends me their truck, I can tow with it, do a much more in-depth engine review on it, which I'd actually love to do. Let me know if you want to see that. But I guess in terms of rating the light duty or the 1500 truck segment diesel engines, I would rank number 1, the inline 6 3-liter Duramax diesel. I think that's actually a fantastic diesel engine. I really like it. I would not be afraid to buy that whatsoever. Secondly, I would have to put the 3-liter PowerStroke. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it's still a very reliable engine, and most people will have good success with it. Now, thirdly and sadly, the EcoDiesel, I just think it's just a poor built engine. I don't think it is very reliable, and the main reason why Ram canceled this engine is not because of lack of interest. In fact, there's a ton of people who like these engines and want them. It's because of poor performance. This engine sucked, and that's why Ram buried it. But anyways, that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think, as always. Now, going forward, I do kind of feel like the F-150s with the 3-liter diesel engine are gonna be a little bit of a diamond in the rough. I mean, there's a lot of pickup truck guys that love a good diesel engine. I think they may actually be a little bit sought after, but only time will tell. Anyways, guys, I hope you like this little snippet of the 3-liter PowerStroke. Hopefully, I can actually get the truck in my hands, and we'll do some much more in-depth reviews, which I'm excited to do. If you guys did like the video, don't forget to leave that thumbs up. And if you like cool stuff like this, truck stuff, towing, diesel talk, don't forget to subscribe because, well, got lots of cool stuff planned. Anyways, enough of me. We'll see you on the next freaking video.